Hi everyone, it's Greg Owen from iwantprepnow.co.uk, and I was going to write a blog this week about some super sex I had in a sauna. I happened to share the story, little bits of it on Twitter and Facebook, and it seemed to get quite a lot of attention and quite a lot of queries. First of all, I'll say I have never gone to a gay sauna or a sex party before. No, that's not the truth. I've been to plenty of gay saunas and plenty of sex parties, but never sober. So it was quite a random turn of events that I ended up in a gay sauna last Saturday night, unaware, so unprepared, which means I hadn't douched, obviously, and just not really. I hadn't manscaped, I hadn't trimmed, I just didn't expect to be there, and I personally, I'm not feeling kind of too hot at the minute, as in I haven't been to the gym in a while and I just don't feel like I'm in kind of the best shape that I've been in. So I was a little bit insecure and not so comfortable about turning up to the sauna. And obviously with everything that's happening and the prep scene at the minute as well, there's quite a lot of attention on that, and I maybe wasn't so much looking forward to anyone tapping me on the shoulder and asking me about prep and my HIV status in a busy sauna. So I had anxieties. So I went to the sauna and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to be here for a few hours and let me just have some space, some downtime first. So I went and I sat in a cubicle on my own for like 10 minutes and thought, you know what, this is absolutely ridiculous. If I'm here and I'm in this situation, I may as well just try to kind of unwind and enjoy myself a little bit. I then also thought, well, I've never been in this situation sober before, so let's actually really be fully aware of what's happening around me. And some things were really lovely, actually, and some things were slightly concerning. So the first guy I had sex with, I kind of spotted straight away. He wasn't particularly model good looking, but he was really handsome and something very, very sexy about him. So we ended up in a cubicle and we were having sex. I could actually taste somebody else's cum on his chin, which was kind of a little bit naughty, but kind of really sexy. I don't know why I was drawn to this guy, but after I came, I hadn't had sex in like 2 months at this point. And so I was a very enthusiastic finisher, shall we say. So it was just oral, but then I came in, then I actually came in my own eye, which happens quite a lot these days. Just strange, but I came in my own eye, so I couldn't hang around for the small chat afterwards. So I said to the guy, I'm going to go for a shower. I need to get the cum out of my eye. And he was like, okay, cool. And then he came and checked up on me and he was like, oh, how was your eye? And I said, which one? And then he said, did you put cream in your eye? And I was like, yes, okay, right, here we go. So it's actually quite funny. So we had a bit of a laugh and a joke. So it was nice to kind of interact with a person and not just with a sexual body. He was an actual person and I liked his spark. So that was the first guy. Then there were another couple of little interactions with a few other guys. And then I kind of had enough. I was tired. How many times did I come at this point? I think once or twice, can't remember. I needed to chill out. So I went to the chill out area in the sauna where everyone just sort of, it's like a big mass bed and everyone was sort of there. Before I went there, I went in the dark room and there was quite a lot of oral going on there. But then it's dark and that freaks me out a little bit. So I didn't know what I was like too sober for that. So then I went for a chill out and then this gorgeous kind of like Spanish looking guy with a beard, just beautiful guy came and sat next to me and sort of like, he was very polite and very like well-mannered, not too intense. And when I say well-mannered, well, we didn't speak, but his energy was not too assertive, which I like a bit of swag and some balls, but I don't like aggressive cruising. So he came in, kind of smiled, and then came and joined me on the bed. And then he just kind of had the most kind of really kind of intense, kind of passionate sex with him. And you could tell this guy had obviously been in one or at least a couple of long-term relationships, because the kind of sex people have when they're used to having sex with one person, you kind of learn a few tricks, and not even tricks, it's just you learn how to interact, I think, with people rather than just having a series of one occasion shags. I think when you actually spend some time with a person and you start to try and understand them, a boyfriend or boyfriends or partners, then the way you have sex, I think, in my experience, the way I had sex changed. And I had been in a 7-year relationship, which finished 3 years ago. And so I could just tell by the dynamic and the energy of the sex that we were having that he'd been in a long-term relationship at some point. And it almost felt like a very familiar sex. So anyway, he sat on my dick and rode me. And then actually he was the first person I've had condomless sex with that has not known me. So all the sex I've had to date has been with people who have known me on Facebook or have known before and who have obviously known, because it's very public and visible, they've known my HIV status, my undetectable HIV positive status. So this guy sort of just sat on my dick in the middle of a chill out area, and I was like, I know whether he's positive or negative, I'm no HIV risk to him. But it was the first time that I was probably going to have to disclose to someone who didn't know. And the way it happened was in a room full of people in a sauna. So it was kind of like, well, now's not the time to sort of tap him on the shoulder and say, oh, by the way, can I just tell you I'm HIV positive? So it was a bit of a weird thing for me, but really good sex. And then he just sort of, I was bottom dominated again, I guess. He sort of went about and was really, really good. And then I came in him and he kind of bounced up and ran out to the shower to, obviously, well, I presume, get rid of my cum from his ass and to freshen up. And then he came back into the chill out area. I was just sort of sat there and he came back in. And he sat opposite me, and I remember looking at him and thinking, oh, God, I wish you had just sort of came back here. And like, there was that sort of the rosy glow, the after effect that I wanted to, weird in a sauna, I wanted to cuddle the guy. It was very bizarre. And here's the, okay, now we're getting into the bit that pissed me off. So I felt obliged. I mean, I didn't feel any ownership to him, or there was no, he had no onward responsibility towards me to come and cuddle me or make sure I was okay or whatever. It wasn't that. But I was watching him. He was right opposite me. And this pissed me off. Not because I had good sex with a guy, but because he was a person who was having a little sleep. And this one guy systematically went round the sauna again and again and again. And he was waiting for the people who were either going to sleep or passing out to start forcing himself on those people. And this guy, I think he had like a few drinks. He wasn't high, I don't think. Obviously not, because he was dozing. So I think he maybe had a few drinks. He'd been out all night and he was just literally needed a little nap. But I could see these guys consistently keep coming around, systematically waiting for the one that was passing out. And I thought, wow, if he was on G, he could quite likely waken up and have loads in his ass, or have been had sex to, or raped is another way. I mean, I don't really like to use the word rape, but he would have been sexually interacted with without his knowledge or permission. So I could see he was tired, and I thought, you know what, fuck this. This is pissing me off. So I went over and I lay next to him, because I just thought, if you want to sleep, I'll like lie next to you and make sure nobody touches you for the next hour or two, because I don't really want to have sex again just yet. And then I did that, and I think he was aware it was me. And then the next thing, we did end up cuddling and spooning and stuff, which was, I'm aware, was very bizarre for a gay sauna. But that in itself, like, he was lying on top of me, asleep, and this guy just came over. Admittedly, he put a condom on, and then he went to fuck this guy because his ass was in the air. And I'm like, I couldn't believe in London in 2016 how far we've come as a community. A guy is affectionately lying on top of me, okay, in a towel, but somebody else comes and tries to fuck him while he's asleep on top of me. I can't believe I actually had to stop and say, the guy's asleep and I saw him turn you down half an hour ago, and pretty sure he doesn't want you to fuck him while he doesn't know. I actually had to have that conversation. That is totally fucking not acceptable. So anyway, the guy kind of got a bit of an arse and then he left. And this then seemed to create a little bit of awareness from the guys around us. And then I started getting attitude from certain people in the sauna because I didn't let someone fuck a guy who was asleep. Like, there's a fucking problem there if our community behaves like that. I'm sorry, I don't want to get ranty. There is a problem there. That's kind of, I had sex with the guy again. He came around and he was really sweet, and then he actually came in me. So considering I hadn't douched, he was very lucky because I'm very funny about mess. So the fact that I even let him fuck me, he was really good, and he came in me. So it was like it was nice sex, and it was weird for me to have not done the HIV exposure, even though I know I'm not infectious or a risk to anyone. It was just slightly bizarre for me. But But what I did notice, one other thing I want to say is when I was proper buff and six pack and ripped and kind of considered like gym boy or buff or up my own arse or hotter than I consider myself to be at the minute, the amount of attitude I got from other people who instantly took a dislike to me for that pissed me off. Now in hindsight, I can see it pissed me off and I wasn't aware because I sort of have a bit of a beer belly at the minute. I hadn't trimmed. I'm not looking too hot, to be honest. I'm exhausted. The prep battle has been pretty intense and I'm not looking for compliments, by the way. I'm just saying I'm not feeling too swag at the minute. And I actually noticed that, but I don't know whether it's because I was a little bit more introvert or maybe not as, I don't know, outgoing, that maybe it was my energy and not my physical body. But I noticed I got less attitude when I was a little bit out of shape. I got much more attention from other normal guys. So I don't like the big kind of, I personally don't like it. I just like normal guys. And I got more attention from those guys and actually a fair amount of attention still from the gym buddies, but and I can see how it works both ways because some of the gym boys, the proper beautiful bodied gym boys, kind of looked at me with like kind of a little bit of contempt and disgust that I shouldn't be. Well, maybe, I don't know. There's that dynamic. I felt more comfortable and I got less shade in the sauna from being a little bit less fit, which was nice for me because I'd given myself a hard time about it and I thought, well, actually, you know what? Most of it is in my head. And I think our own self-worth, it's only natural and human, but I think a lot of gay men's self-worth, they take from other people. They wait for it to be allocated to them. Where I think, you know what? You're probably all right. I think if we started to own it a little bit more and each of us own our own self-worth rather than wait to be validated by somebody else, will be a much healthier thing. And I think for other people, like if you're aware of that, maybe just try and be a little bit kinder. So to kind of, anyway, that's it. We'll end with the kindness. Just try to be a little bit kinder. Don't be a bitch. Don't fuck people when they're asleep or passed out. It's just really off key. I think that's it. 6 stories from Greg. Bye.